All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. We are back for another Bolt Fun workshop session. We are on the ground in El Salvador. Had some last minute plans, flew out, and we thought it'd be really fun to do some adopting Bitcoin sessions. So I think this is probably the first of quite a few workshops that are going to happen over the next few days. The plan with these sessions as well is to kind of report on some of the things that are happening here on the ground, giving you guys some up-to-date news and not letting you get too much FOMO. So today, to kick things off, I'm here with Second Light, a developer at BTC Map, and Arvin from Galoy. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a live coding session, importing a bunch of data, for example, from Galoy and things like that, and helping map out some of the Bitcoin merchants in El Salvador. Obviously, we've got thousands of Bitcoiners here for the Adopting Bitcoin conference, and what better way for them to discover which merchants do and Bitcoin through BTC Map. So btcmap.org is actually a project which is entered into the Legends of Lightning tournament. They've been doing some really awesome stuff. I even found some people local to me in the UK where I can spend my Bitcoins as well. So super cool what they're doing. They're putting communities on the map, putting merchants on the map. But I won't waffle too long. I'll hand it over to Arvin. He'll give you guys a bit more of a rundown on what you'll be up to today. So over to you, Arvin.
Hey, thanks. Okay, so I think today what we're going to do is, like Ed mentioned, we're in El Salvador right now, and we noticed that the map is pretty sparse on btcmap.org for locations in El Salvador. But us at Galoy, with the Bitcoin Beach wallet, we have a map kind of internal to the wallet, and we expose the data through the API. And it has like, I think, over 500 locations, a bunch of which are in El Salvador. So we were thinking if there's an easy way to sort of upload that to BTC Map, to kind of quote unquote put El Salvador on the map for adopting Bitcoin. Yeah, so I think what the format of what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna kind of be live coding. I'll be talking through some of the things I did to get this data out and kind of transform it and then upload it back to BTC Map, just talk through how that works and stuff. We thought it'd be good to live code some of it just because it could be useful if anybody wants to work on anything related to BTC Map or OpenStreetMaps or like, you know, there's a bunch of data sets and silos and stuff. I think I'll let Second Light talk more about that, about like how they've been uploading things and getting different data sets and stuff in and working with different communities. So I'm gonna let Second Light join now and talk about some of that. And then while he's doing that, I'm gonna set up some coding stuff. And then once he's done, we'll get into that.
Cool. Yeah, so super excited about this. I think it's awesome that we're going to be able to get the Galoy data into OpenStreetMap and into BTC Map. So the current process is essentially you would have to one by one add the locations to OpenStreetMap. And Arvin came up with this great idea of semi-automating it as much as possible while still doing some QA on the data to make sure that we're uploading quality data into OpenStreetMap, which is super important. So super excited to see this, and think we might be able to turn it into some kind of tool. And if anyone's interested in contributing to that, that other people could use if they have larger data sets they want to get into the map.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna share a screen now, and I guess we can start. Let me see if I can figure that out. So, share screen. All right. So it's, yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start with just explaining the data that we have in Bitcoin Beach. I'm gonna access it through the API just to kind of show like what the shape of that is. Let me see if I can get this a bit bigger because I feel like it's super small. Control, how do you zoom in? Okay. let's just do that. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so we use a GraphQL API, and we have an endpoint that's map markers. And if you hit this endpoint, you get sort of a, oh, we don't need this. Let's just take that out. You get a bunch of info for different map markers in our system. So I'm just gonna like send a request to that endpoint right now. And there we go. So you get like all these locations. Let me see if I can get it to be a bit, yeah. So these locations come back in an array, and this is what a single location looks like. There's a username that's like sort of an internal Bitcoin Beach username. So this would be like, it would map to somebody's Lightning address. So it's a way to pay somebody. And there's payment pages and stuff that we have around this. So that's an internal thing. And then here for the map info, this is where we have the actual info that's relevant. And we use this to populate a map internal like in our app as well, but this is the kind of thing that you'd use to put it up into OpenStreetMap. So there's a title and there's coordinates, and these will map to the name. So like OpenStreetMap uses tags and I guess attributes. So we'd map like these two things to the attributes on OpenStreetMaps and the title to the name. If I jump across to OpenStreetMaps now, okay, let's get rid of that. And let's just find, just gonna find a location as an example. Let's say what's a place that has Bitcoin. I've been messing with this place, which is go to this location. There we go. Right. So this is a location in the map. If you, yeah. So if you look at how it's kind of laid out, it's there's tags here, and these are the tags that are sort of the recommended ones by the BTC map folks. So it's currency XBT, if that's yes or no. The name of the place. If they accept Lightning, it's payment Lightning yes. If they accept on-chain, it's payment on-chain yes. And I think that's it. And we're adding an additional tag too, just to kind of keep track of the data that we're gonna upload in this automated way. So it's like this new tag that we're kind of experimenting with: Bitcoin Bank : Galoy : Bitcoin Beach. And the idea here is that maybe there's other Galoy instances. There's like Bitcoin Jungle and different instances. Maybe there's other kinds of Bitcoin banks. You know, Fedi's coming online. There's other things. So maybe it's a tag that other people can use eventually later on. So yeah, so this is kind of the shape of the data that we want to map to. And if I just open up the XML here to give you an idea of what that looks like. Yeah, so this is what the data looks like in OSM. It's kind of small. Let's get a bit bigger. Yeah. So each node has its own ID, and then you come across here, and there's a latitude and a longitude. So that's what we're kind of gonna map to. And then down here in the tag, there's a name. Yep, there it is. So there's a name. So that's what we're gonna use from the Bitcoin Beach wallet to populate there. And then we're just gonna, by default, because we know like everybody who's on the Bitcoin Beach map has a Bitcoin Beach wallet, and Bitcoin Beach wallet supports on-chain payment, Lightning payments. So we're just gonna default add currency XBT, and we're gonna add payment on-chain and payment Lightning to be yes. So that's kind of what we're planning to do today with this code. So I think let's just jump to the actual btcmap.org map. There's one thing, there's one challenge that I'm actually gonna throw it back to Second Light for this one. But there's one challenge where like people, like this is a challenge when I think they were looking into automating it, which is that it has to be manual because you need to factor in duplicates and stuff. And yeah, let's let Second Light talk about like some of their challenges around that and what we're trying to work around here. So yeah.
Yeah, so like Arvin was saying, so it is great to be able to automate the data because we are going to be trying to add hundreds of locations, which would take quite a bit of effort to do manually. The only concern is if there's already a location in OpenStreetMap, we don't want to create a duplicate. So the ones that aren't in there, we can create them as new ones. There's no issue there, but we just want to do an extra step of validation and make sure we're not creating duplicates and overwriting tags as well on existing locations.
Yeah, cool. So that was the challenge in doing this exercise as well. It was kind of like, how do we find these locations that we have in our Bitcoin Beach wallet map and make sure that there aren't duplicates already, or if there are, make sure we're handling it properly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to step through the code It's all kind of coded up already, but I'm going to step through the code and explain the different bits of what we've been doing, and then kind of bring it together in the end into an actual upload. And we'll see if it works or not. This is a live thing. It's not a finished product, so we'll see if it works. Let's hope it works. So if you have a location, the first thing you want to do is kind of verify that there is no nearby nodes, or if there is a nearby node, you kind of want to get an idea of, okay, what's happening there. So here's a first piece of code that I'm going to run. I'm manually passing in a node ID for a location, and I'm going to run this function called get nearby nodes to see what nodes are nearby. And if I look at this function, it's kind of like you're fetching data about the node. Wait, let me just see here. No, I just need to remember what I've actually done. Right. So yeah, there we go. So you fetch data about the node there, right? You get its coordinates from like the OpenStreetMap's coordinates. So like we have a node ID. I'm passing node ID in there. I'm getting the full object from OpenStreetMaps, and then I'm getting the coordinates from that object, and I'm gonna call this fetch nearby nodes thing on it. I think I'll just go into log this as well. So when I run it, you'd actually see what that node looks like. Let's just put node here and put node. So we'll see what that looks like. And then fetch nearby nodes, this method, if I just go to that, here, this one. So it's using this thing called bounding boxes, which is, it's sort of a thing on the OpenStreetMaps API. You can define, like, if you think of a map and you think that there's a box on a map, right? And you ask it, hey, here's a box, give me all the coordinates from inside that box, and you can define the size of the box. That's a really good way to get nearby nodes. So here, for example, I'd use like whatever coordinate we pass in. I'd say, okay, like I have a box radius. Well, radius, not the right word. Box something. Where it's that, okay, this is my location. I'm gonna say the top left point is just minus the box radius from the latitude and longitude, and then the bottom right point is adding the box radius and latitude, and that draws a box for me. And if I go to get box, which is another method we've implemented here, this is the endpoint that you're looking at on the OSM API. You literally call like the OSM endpoint. There's an API for it. You pass this map. You go into a map endpoint. The data is bbox, and then you just pass in those coordinates that I just mentioned, like the top, left, bottom, right thing, and that gives you a nice box. So let's see what that looks like in action. Let me make sure I comment the right code, and let's see how that looks. Just gonna run that there.
Also, if we could add one more tag, it would be good. It's the survey date tag, and we could put today's date in. That's another tag that BTC map looks for. And if the survey date is less than 1 year old, then it will consider that location verified.
Nice. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, and I was thinking, I'm not like, these are people that have a Bitcoin Beach wallet, and I'm not physically visiting these. So I guess we can trust the Bitcoin Beach data maybe, and use the survey data today once that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah. All right, cool. So let me run this. Here, right? The node ID I passed was 94 blah blah blah. This is the node that came back here. So you can see there's latitude and longitude on it. And then I use that. I draw a box and I tell it, hey, give me all the nearby nodes in that box. And it gives me all these places here, right? So there's 1, 2, 3 places nearby to it. And if we actually go to OpenStreetMaps to look at, what's the name of this place? Is there a name? Let's see, or maybe I just do node ID. So if we actually go to see what this looks like in the street maps itself, let's see if it corresponds. So node, let's do that node. Is there data for this? Okay, what's happening here? Oh, API. Let's just get rid of API. That's what's happening. There we go. Okay, so it's agroveterinaria, right? That's this place right here. Let me see if I can zoom in, right? And if you look at what's close by, right? So if let's say that this is roughly the box here, right? We see Hotel Morame over here, we see La Mamona over here, and we see like these others over here. And if we look at what we got back in the data, for nearby. We got La Mamona, cool. We got like the actual location, Agro Veterinaria, and we got Hotel Morame, right? So that's Morame, La Mamona, and this. We did not get Florista or Magicolor or whatever because those fall just outside the box. So the box is roughly about this size here. So that's kind of like how we're doing that. Yeah. So that's the first step. First step is just getting a bunch of nearby nodes, and then after that, let me just find the box radius thing to give you guys an idea of that's coming in. Box rate nearby nodes radius, right? So we're using a constant here. Yeah, this is like this is the radius, and I think it's in degrees and minutes or something like that. It's a latitude longitude thing. So this maps out to like roughly like the size of the box that I showed you guys there. So once we have those nearby nodes, right? The next step is to be able to qualify them somehow, because it's one thing to have these nearby nodes here, but the other thing is, okay, how do I know if the place I'm interested in exists or not already, right? And if somebody's doing this manually, like the BTC map folks recommend, like when they recommend like the process for the super tagger, the what is it, shadowy super taggers? Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's right.
maybe
Shadowy super taggers.
maybe you can talk through.
Yeah, so anybody can contribute to OpenStreetMap. That's the cool thing about it. And so you can actually just do it on your own if you want to add a location. But locations that are submitted through BTC Map, through the what we call the noob form, those will have a ticket, an issue generated in our btcmap.org data repo. And so if you're looking to get a little bit more involved, you can start scanning through those issues and pick one up and verify it and then add it to OpenStreetMap. And you can get a little bit of recognition for doing that. We have a leaderboard and some badges. You can even earn some sats. You can hook up a tip button to your tagger profile and people can send you sats. So tried to make it as fun as possible instead of, having it a little bit more monotonous, because data entry can be like that.
Nice. Okay, so part of the process of adding a place to the map is going to the actual map and seeing if the place exists already. And that's what we need to replicate in this automated sort of setup that we're doing. So now that we have the nearby nodes, now we need a process by which we can tell if there's something nearby. And if you think of how an actual person would do this, is that, like, let's say I'm working with this data here. I have a place called Agri, I can't remember, Agri something, and I get a bunch of nearby nodes back. And I need to, what I can do is I can look at these nodes and I can see what would I do? I would look at the name, right? I'll be like, oh, Lamamona, that's on it. Agro, that's probably it. Morame, nope, that's on it. So like the process is to actually look at the name anyway. So what I thought was like, okay, maybe we can get like a fuzzy matching, something that can look at names and compare like whether a name is likely close to or similar to the name that we're interested in, because like it's different data sets we're working with. Maybe they didn't put the exact same name into Bitcoin Beach wallet that somebody may have added across the OpenStreetMaps. So that's kind of what we've decided to do, is I'm using Fuse.js. It's kind of a framework to do fuzzy string matching, and maybe I can show. There might be a demo here. I can't remember if I did a demo for that one. Maybe not. Maybe I can just do it here. So if I did like, let me just show an example of that real quick. Let's call it Fuse. Did I ever do that? Did I? Nope. Let's see. Fuse. I think it's require Fuse.js. I guess we'll see now. Not that. Okay, let's see. What did I actually call this thing? Oh, it's Fuse.js, and we're importing. Got it. Right. Cool. So let me just copy this actually. Yeah. Right now, I just want to give an idea of like what that fuzzy string matching looks like, so you have a better picture of what we're actually doing to identify these things. Okay. Cool. So if we pull in a compare, let's just call this. So we'll use these options here. We will use a new use thing with candidate. So I'm gonna just define a candidates thing here just to give you an idea. Let's say candidates, we have water, I don't know, table, and adopt 21 because that's the thing we're at. Cool. So that's our candidates.
Arvin was just putting stuff around the room because we're at a table and we have a bottle of water and we're at adopting 21. Love it.
Yeah, it's keep it simple. So this is a users are been declared. Let's call it something else. Select this one. Right. So this is my matching thing here, right? Use one has a bunch of things in it, and now I can match this against a word. So like, let's say I wanted to match it against phone, right? Whoops, keep not doing that. Use one. There we go. Right. So it says, okay, you gave me the word phone. Water. It has the way the scoring works is that it scores from 0 to 1. 0 is a perfect match. 1 is like horrible. And these all are, and 0.6 is kind of like the threshold where they recommend. Below that it's likely a match. Above it it's not. So 0.8 is bad, right? So you can see like, yeah, none of these things match the word phone. But if I were to put like water 1 or something, right? You see that it matches this almost perfectly. It's like 0.166. It's way down there. It doesn't match. It doesn't match adopt 21. It's close, but it's above the 0.6 threshold, and then table is just way out there. So that's how the fuzzy matching thing works. So applying that now to our code base here, like what we want to do is get the nodes. Just to recap, we want to get the points from BTC from Bitcoin Beach. We want to use that to go to OSM and find if there's any nearby nodes, and then we want to kind of figure out if any of those nearby nodes are a match or not. So what I'm going to do now is kind of show some code that just does all of that together. Let's clear up this a bit. Let's collapse these. Right, great. We want this back here. Okay, so I'm just going to stop that one, and let's do sign compares demo. I need to remember what that is. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna run this one here, which is nearby markers to file. Let me just make sure I have a clean thing here. I do, okay. So if I run this, let me just show you this method real quick. Nearby markers to file, right? Yeah. What that does is it runs this command called fetch and process Galway and OSM nodes, which is pretty much just going out, getting the map markers from Galway. That's this one. Kind of persisting them in a file, getting the nearby nodes, adding the compare stuff from Fuse.js, and then putting that to a final thing, and then persisting it to disk, right? So if I run that right now, let me see. We've kind of stolen a room right now, and people keep walking in and looking confused, but I think that's okay. Right, so if I'm running that on right there, you can see data coming in, and this is like the file being built here. So you see that the file is, if I go to the end of this file, you're actually see it being built in real time. Yeah, so that's map data coming in from Galoy. There's like for this one, for example, there's no nearby nodes at all. But for this one, this name, there are nearby nodes, but they don't quite match. If you look at these scores, it's like that's Kukulkan. Pharmacias is not that, so it gets a bad score. And it goes into skipped. But let's look for one that has a match, and we'll see what that looks like. Match. Where are the matched ones? Is nobody matching? Oh, there we go. Right, so Amaranto restaurant got one match nearby node. And if we look at it here, you see that the name is Amaranto something. It's likely the same place because it's in the same like location, general locations, and it already accepts Bitcoin and Lightning and stuff. So great, we don't need to do anything with that. And you can see here, the score it's not exactly similar, but it's like below 0.6. So even though it said Amaranto Panajachal, I'm probably butchering that, and we have Amaranto restaurant in our Bitcoin Beach data, but we can see like it's the same node, right? So like this is kind of how the whole match nearby nodes versus skipped nearby nodes thing works, and it's sort of how we're gonna determine what we want to edit and not edit. So I'm just gonna stop this here now because it's gonna take a while. There's 500 and something locations in here, so I did dump it about a half an hour ago. So let me just go get that one. Should move that. So here we have the full data set. If I just go into here and I go into markers and yeah. So this here is the full data set. It's 500 and something locations, all with like either matched or skipped nodes, right? And yeah, and there's one other thing too here with like a kind of a sanity check where I've mapped this thing called inconsistent equals true, right? So you can see there's two things that got this inconsistent thing, and that happens if there's more than one matched nearby node. So like here, for example, Comercial Sedna, you can see this first one, it's called Comercial Kami, so it's not quite the same, but it's something. It has no Bitcoin data on it. It got a score of 0.3. And then there's another one called Centro Comercial, a bunch of stuff. And that got a score of 0.55, so it's just below the threshold, but again, it doesn't have any Bitcoin data on it. So we're not too sure what's happening here. We're just going to skip this one. So there's two inconsistent ones. We'll just skip those. But we do have a lot of good data to work with, because the ones that, all the nodes that just didn't get any nearby nodes, those should be pretty safe to add, because there's nothing nearby. So there's no decision to make on whether it's skipped or not. It's just pretty easy. These are all creates. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is that we're now going to sort of loop over this object, pull in these things and format them into the OSM format that we use. So now I think we're going to talk about like how we're going to actually upload this thing, what OSM the API expects, and how we're going to kind of reshape it to that. So the OSM API, it works with XML, and it has this concept called a change set. So you open a change set, you get a change set ID, and then you can add things to that change set using like post requests and XML documents. So for example, let me just close this one here. If you look at like, this is what an open change set thing looks like. I'm just adding my username and stuff and opening a change set. I get back a change set ID, and then I'm able to upload changes to it, right? And there's two kinds of changes you can upload. It's either a modify, where the node exists already, you pass in the node ID and you pass the tags that you want it to have, or there's like a create, which is like this one, where it's a create tag, and then you just pass in the tags of the thing you want again. And up here is where you put like the change set ID, so it knows which change set is going against. You have your latitude, longitude, and you have all the tags that we're going to be adding. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And you can see here, this is what we're looking at, is adding currency XBT, payment lightning, payment on chain, and then this Bitcoin Beach thing, just to know that what we're tagging. There's another thing to it. Okay, so I guess, do we want to add survey date to this? What do you think?
It's a good point. The survey date is really meant to be if you've verified it in person, or at least called the location, make sure they still accept Bitcoin, and the other information in the pop-up is correct. But since these are Galoy Bitcoin Beach businesses, I guess that would be your discretion if you think the survey date should be updated or not.
Okay, yeah. So I think what we can do is we can probably, because for these guys to be added to the Galoy data set, they would have to have a Bitcoin Beach wallet, because they have a username. Everybody has a username. So we know that they at least already have an account with Bitcoin Beach, and they would have been manually onboarded to have that account. So it could be that since they've been onboarded, like maybe they aren't doing it anymore, but I feel like it's a good bet that most of these guys are still doing it, because we verified that they have an account. So maybe we can add the survey date, knowing that most of them will be okay, but some of them might not be. And maybe it can be like the job of taggers after that to kind of verify that, oh, okay, here's a bunch of new data, like with Galoy tags or whatever. I can go and check it out. And if I go and they don't have it, maybe I just mark it as, hey, these guys don't accept it anymore. Maybe we can do that.
Yep, and it's super easy. Every location on BTC map will have a verify button. And so if you do run into a situation where a location no longer accepts Bitcoin, you can simply click the verify button, fill out a few fields, and if they don't accept Bitcoin anymore, they can be removed from the map.
Nice, cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna see what that survey date format thing looks like. Oh, what's this? Okay, not that. How do I get a location? Maybe you can help me with this. See this one.
Sorry, I missed it. What were you trying to get?
I'm trying to see what the data.
Oh, okay. So if you, each location on BTC map will actually have an edit link that will open the location on OpenStreetMap. It's just that middle one there, the little pencil Yep, that one. Yeah, so you have to be logged in. But we can also add a button that'll just open it on OpenStreetMap, so it won't take you to the edit screen. Could also do that. You can just click edit now there if you want.
Okay, so I'm gonna look for a location that has survey dates already. Do you know anybody who's done a survey recently? Any locations?
Is your mic on? I can't hear you anymore.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Arvin's back.
There we go. All right. So I was just saying, which one of do you know any of these locations that have a survey date on it? I just want to get like a sample of what it looks like on.
Yeah. So I don't know which ones have a survey date.
Who surveyed stuff recently?
Yeah, this is definitely highlighting the fact that there is a lot of old information in there. But what are you trying to find? The format? It's year, month, day is the format for the survey date.
Okay, so if I do, maybe you can talk me through this. I think you'd have to.
So yep, it's survey semicolon or sorry colon date, and then it's year, month, day with a just the dash in between.
Yeah, so that looks good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. So let me make sure I'm not muted. I'm not good. Okay, cool. So this is some code to add the tags to the things that we're gonna be putting into OSM, and you can see here there's so when we pull it in, so this is the marker that we're pulling in, that this data structure that I showed you guys. Let me just, this is a marker here, so just so you know what we're talking about. And what I'm gonna do is for ones that, so this is an example of a marker that has no existing nodes on it. And what we wanna do is kind of just add all the tags for that node. So when we pull it in, we're gonna add like the name, the currency XBT, blah, 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 all that stuff, add the latitude, longitude, and then kind of pull that out. So let's see, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna run that now and see what we get. So let's call it converter. Let's do, I have a bunch of like, all this code is kind of pre-prepared and we're just kind of running through it now to see what we can get. All right, so I'm just gonna uncomment the create one, and I'm going to run that. And let's see what we get from that. Okay, so we have 534 markers in that file. It was able to find 361 to create like new ones. So, and it would have put it out to a file called create.xml. So that's this one. So let's just see what that looks like. So yeah, these are the nodes that would be kind of coming in. And I feel like we're at the moment of truth point now, where it's at. Like, okay, let's see. All right, we have one here, name, currency, activity, lightning on chain, Bitcoin reach survey date. Cool. Right. So what I'm gonna do is this is the document that we're actually gonna be uploading. So there's 361. Are you sure you're ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. This is the moment of truth. We'll see what happens live on the Bolt.fun stream from Adopting 21.
Yeah. Let's go. All right. So let's start this process. I'm gonna have to open a change set. Get the ID for that. So let's just open that change set. Yeah. And this is hitting OpenStreetMaps gets us an ID. So I can actually see this open change set on OpenStreetMaps. If I go here and I just go to, so just get a format of that. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so here's a brand new change set created less than a minute ago. There's nothing in it. And we are going to, well, we need to use that ID first to update this thing. So I'm just gonna copy that, do a find and replace on this here. 61, that sounds about right. So let's just replace that. So we have the right change set ID. Yeah, Okay, moment of truth. I think, let me just make sure, right, latitude, longitude, ID is -1, that's good. Version is 1 because it's brand new. Bunch of name tags, XBT, lightning, on-chain survey date. Okay, I think this document is good. And OSM lets you, so with XML documents, I think they say they let you upload up to 10,000 like changes in a nodes in a single document. So we'll see. I've never tried to upload a lot. I've uploaded like 2 or 3 in the past. So let's see if it takes 361. So okay, update change set. Read file sync. We want create .xml. Our change set ID is this one. And that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. So, all right, moment of truth. Let's go. It's going. Let's see if we get 360. I'm at bad request. Okay, good. I would have been so surprised if that worked on this right. All right. So I think I know what's happening. So there's an issue here. Like if you see this right here, that ampersand is not XML friendly. So I'm gonna have to replace that. I knew this. I knew this before and I forgot. Because here I am Googling it to see why it broke. So I'm just gonna change this ampersand. So let's see if there's an ampersand with a space before it and after it. Yep, let's just change it to be this, like that, and that. Let's do that. Okay. And then if we look for ampersands again.
I just wanted to say too that whenever you're doing a big bulk upload like this to OpenStreetMap, Arvin showed earlier, we actually created our own specific tag that's going to be associated with every single node. So that's super important because if something does go wrong and we need to clean up the data, then we can simply query the OpenStreetMap data using that custom tag that will only have these locations. And then we can further manipulate the data or fix anything that was maybe done by mistake. But we'll get it right the first time, right?
We're on live stream, so I feel like Murphy's around somewhere. No, we're good. We're good. I'm just let's just clean up this ampersand stuff and yeah. Okay, so let's try again and we'll see. Bad request still. Okay, so yeah, there's something. This is, I think this what's happening here is it's most likely something with the data, like something badly formatted in the data somewhere. So it could be this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a separate file and I'm gonna do it with like a few nodes that we know are good, just to make sure that what we have here is formatted properly. And then after that we can debug that. But I really just want to get at least one thing updated from this. Let's not do that. Yeah. So we have like a good idea of like if it actually works out. Okay, so we want to copy that. Plus 2, VS Code. Create. Let's call it create one. Oops. .xml. All right. So this is the part where we said it's not totally automated. It's assisted. This is the assisted part. So let's just get this. Come down to here. Like that. So we're gonna just do these first two. Let's see if this works. These look pretty clean, pretty straightforward. So we'll know if it's an issue or not. And we can. This will be easier to troubleshoot from, I think. So let's just go with this. So we want to change that name to -1, and then let's go again and see if we get those two. Bad request. Where are we getting this bad request thing? I feel like it's something really simple we're doing wrong. Maybe it's the change set ID or the version. Just make sure this change set ID is correct.
Does the response header include any information?
I can check. One sec. I'll have to dump it out. I'm trying to avoid doing that, but yeah, we can do that. Oh, what is the ID for this thing? Let me just refresh this. 129 2890 884. Yep, that's correct. Okay, good. So that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's just look at the response. So what I'll do is I'll just do it in here so we get a bit more visibility into like what's coming back. So the endpoint for that is, let's see, it's at create something, I think. Let's just go into that. All right, there we go. So let's just find where the end. This is the part of the stream where we get into live debugging. We're very wrong and we need to find it. Hopefully by the time we're finished here on the stream, I feel like we'll have a hard stop in a bit, but it's okay. We'll get it. All right, so we're looking at.
But yeah, this is good. This is what happens when you're doing it for real. So
exactly. All right, and we want our ID, which is, where is it? This one. So that's our ID. Just gonna put that in there. And we need a body, which is XML. Okay, so I'm gonna just take that body from here. And the reason I'm doing this step right now is just to kind of get some more information from the response, because I haven't coded up that bit. Oh, okay, placeholder IDs must be unique. Oh, there we go. Created elements. You see, it tells you. It tells you. We weren't listening. All right, so we're gonna recreate that again. Let's just do a create step. So what we want to do is create that. All right, so I'm going to close that. Let's go into that create thing again, which is, just get rid of all this. All right, so we're into read file sync, which is that. All right, how did we create this? Yeah, we did it with this. I do not want to run this whole thing again, so I'm thinking of a way to do this where, well, you know what? Okay, first thing, let's just do a demo where it actually works, and then we'll clean up the entire file after. So I just changed the ID there, and the reason we're using negative ones is because it knows it's there's no ID, it doesn't exist, right? So we need to put a placeholder thing in there, and usually they say don't put real. It's gonna not use it anyway, but it still needs it to be unique, and you don't want to confuse it with real placeholders. If you use negative numbers here, you know it's not going to clash with anything real or meaningful. So this should work. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Done. All right. So I think that worked. Just for a little selection of two. Yep. There we go. Two new places right there. And let's look at that place. Yep. So there it is. This is the point in the map, and it's got like a name and lightning and on-chain and date and stuff. And once I close this change set, then it'll be like confirmed, and I think we'll see it across on BTC map. So let me just do that now. And we'll make a change set for the rest of the data. But let's just close this change set here. Oops, let's not do that. What is the change set ID I'm working with right now? It's this one. So let's go with that and do that and do that. Okay, so close change set, which is let's save that, run start that, and should be closed. Yeah, so that's edited and okay, no, we want it to be closed. Yeah, close us in a minute ago. There we go. And there's two new nodes. So that's two new nodes added to the El Salvador map. That's the sample. I'm gonna let Second Light see if you can find it anywhere, but I'm gonna go and clean up the rest of this file now, just so that we can see if this data comes in. So I'm gonna go on mute now and clean up this file a bit, and I'll just let Second Light talk a bit about whatever he wants to talk about, I guess.
Okay, cool. Should I present my screen for a little bit, maybe? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna set that up. Just 1 second.
Cool.
Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so so yeah, one note on the sync with OpenStreetMap is so we won't see Arvin's changes right away. The reason is that we actually sync with OpenStreetMap every 10 minutes. So we'll just wait for the sync to happen. But in the meantime, I can just show you guys what will happen once the sync does occur. And so this is the activity page. And this is Arvin's username, as I believe, and he made an edit an hour ago. So
That was testing.
Okay. So yeah, he was doing some testing earlier. And so yeah, we'll essentially see the same thing up here, except for those two new nodes we just created. So you'll see the name of the location here, which you can click on to view it on the map. You see Arvin's user here, and there's also a tip button because Arvin has set up lightning tips. So actually, why don't I send him some sats right now? Oh, I have to put my password in, so let me just turn off screen share for 2 seconds. Can you guys confirm my screen share is off? Okay. Okay. I just want to demo the tipping quick because it's kind of cool. So just 1 second. Yeah, we just had someone enter the room, so maybe they want to jump on the live stream here. Okay. So right now I'm just unlocking my Albi wallet, which is what I use in my web browser to send people tips. Okay, I'm starting to share my screen again. And just one more time, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so I'm going to send, let me just refresh the page and see if it has synced up yet. No, still not yet. Okay, so I'm going to send Arvin a tip. I'll just click the tip button. And Albi comes up. I will send him 5,000 sats. I'll say, thanks for mapping. And there we go. All right. So yeah, I sent him some sats. So some other things we did to try and make it fun is we created a leaderboard. So I'll just go there quick. So you can see the top taggers here. You can see a breakdown of their contributions, created, updated, and deleted. And Arvin, do you know if you're on the leaderboard?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. So yeah, he is sitting in number 41 spot right now. So let's check out his tagger profile. So just open that up. So again, you can send him tips here as well. He's got a cool bio here. Shadowy super tagger, looking to put BTC on the map. Love it. And you can see you can actually earn some badges. So he's got the OG super tagger badge, which means he joined BTC map within the first 3 months of it launching. Lightning Junkie means that he's got a tip button and some other cool stuff. And I'll just quickly show the badges page. So there's all these badges you can earn. It's kind of cool. They're all Bitcoin themed. So we had some fun with that. And back to his profile. So you can see a breakdown of his activity, and you got a nice little pie chart showing you the distribution of the type. You have his entire history of edits here. And finally, you have this personalized map that you get on your tagger profile that will actually just show you your own locations that you have contributed to. So that is kind of cool. And yeah, so it still hasn't synced up, so it's not live. It really can't be live with syncing with OpenStreetMap. So you do have to wait 10 minutes, but it should be coming in any minute now. So maybe I'll just go through a couple other parts of the site. We have this dashboard page, which has some statistics like the total number of locations, the activity in the past 24 hours, breakdown by payment method, that sort of thing. We have some charts. Bitcoiners love charts, right? We got charts. These are the up-to-date locations. So up-to-date would be what I was talking about earlier with that survey date. So if the survey date is less than a year old, that's considered up-to-date for BTC map purposes. Legacy locations, that there was a big push to get Bitcoin on OpenStreetMap, I think around 2014. Back then, they used the payment Bitcoin tag. Since then, it's been decided that the currency XBT tag is the proper tag. So we want to slowly go through those old locations and either update it or remove them. So that's what that chart is. And the last one is just a breakdown by the different payment methods. So on-chain Lightning and Lightning contactless as well. How's it going with the data over there, Arvin?
I'm currently fighting with TypeScript. So what I'm doing is I'm just like in the iteration, I'm trying to just increment the ID, but because it's like a bunch of nested functions I've done to do all this, I have to like change a bunch of type signatures in a bunch of different places. So it's not the kind of thing you'd struggle with if you're just doing vanilla JS, but about like just not TypeScript. But with this, at least once I do it, I know it's correct, but it takes a little while to like get it through all the different places. So I don't think we're gonna, we'll see. I think we can have a stop in a bit. I'm not sure, maybe we can set a hard stop, and if I get it by then, fine. If not, it'll be up. You'll probably see it in a few minutes after that, because you'll see, I think my leaderboard score might go up massively. So we'll see. But yeah. So I'm just gonna continue hacking on it here. Maybe I can put my screen up again if people want to see that. But otherwise, I'm gonna go on mute and let either Ed or John's or Second Light talk. So yeah.
I can keep demoing. It's up to you guys. Keep going? Okay. I'll just keep showing off BTC map a little. Hey, we got Johns and Ed. I'll keep showing off BTC map while Arvin is hacking away over there. So I'll just share my screen again. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll just go through. I guess here's all the different apps we have. We have web app. We have Android options. The number one recommendation from us for Android is to go through the free and open source App Store, F-Droid. We also have a direct APK download from our own GitHub. Or you can see you have the surveillance option here. If you haven't removed Google from your life yet, then that is okay. And you can also download the app there. And then we have the native iOS option, which actually I would consider it sort of alpha or beta at this point. It hasn't received as much attention as the other platforms. That's because we don't actually have an iOS developer on the team. So if anyone is an iOS developer and wants to get involved, that would be super cool. And just reach out to us about contributing. Maybe I'll show so this is the add location form. So yeah, I guess just to clarify, what we're doing here with Arvin is it's more advanced. It's a bulk upload directly to OpenStreetMap. It's sort of not the normal way. The normal way is either to just add the single location, or most people will fill out this form because it's the most straightforward way to do it. And so you can just drop a pin on this little map here. Probably want to zoom in a little bit more, but I'm just demoing it. I don't think there's anything out in this wilderness here, but you filled out the form here and submit it, and you can select which payment methods, so on-chain Lightning and Lightning contactless. And then, yeah, it will open up a ticket. Maybe I'll show the GitHub page. So yeah, this is our organization, I guess, GitHub. And so you can see that BTC map data repo here. If we go into the issues, so all these will be submissions coming in from the forum, and you can see they have a location submission label and the country as well. So you can click on that. All the information will be there. It provides an edit link, and you can just open that edit link and start adding the location to OpenStreetMap. And I think Arvin just said he's ready to go, so I will pass it back to him. But I'm going to be walking through all the different parts of BTC Map later this week in my presentation, so we'll share that video later. Wait, I think you might be muted again.
You all right? All right. So now we're actually back. Okay. So here's the cleaned up version. I documented the IDs. So they're kind of going down. I changed all the ampersand stuff again, and I removed the two nodes. Forget that it's -4. It's supposed to be -3 off by 1. Forget that. But I removed the two nodes. These two nodes have we already updated. So these are the 359 remaining nodes, and we're gonna see now if this works again. It should, right? Because we just started work with 2, so why not 359? All right, so let's just get a change set opened. So let's just do that. We'll take that ID, right? So we're gonna take that ID from that change set. We're gonna come into create here, and we're gonna just replace all these. This new change set ID. Yep, there we go. And then we're gonna what we want to do is update the change set. So let's just jump to update change set. We'll put our ID here as well. We're reading from create edit now. I can just rename that something else. And I think that looks like everything. I'm just gonna change these here as well when I need to close the change set. Right. Yeah, so now again, moment of truth. Well, let's just get our change set up on OpenStreetMap so we can see it. I'll just put that there. Right, so it's created, it's empty. Moment of truth. Let's see if it works this time. You're on start. Upload, do your thing. Done. Okay, it might have worked. That is a huge change set. 118 pages of changes, 359 changes. Okay, cool. Cool. Kind of surprised that worked. Let's go. Change. Let's close that change set. Done. And yep, created. And let's see if it says closed. Say closed. Why does it not say closed? Well, whatever. Maybe it's still processing or something. But there's 361. I think it's still open. I want to close it. Oh no, it's closed. No, it's not closed. Why did it not close? Maybe I used the wrong thing. So these change sets, they actually close automatically if you leave them open. Like after an hour, it would close anyway. But let's get it to close properly. So I'm gonna save that and run that again. It'll give me an error because it should have been closed already, but let's see. Closed, less than a minute ago. Perfect. And lots of 1 to 20 of 718. All right, cool. So we have a duplicate. So this is where we go and we clean stuff up. Right, cool. Because now I see 1 to 20 of 718, and that's 359 by 2. So this is the danger of when you're like doing these kinds of things. We'll have to go in and see what's happening here. Because we did not upload it twice, but that's why we have our tag. So we should be able to clean that up. That's the tag. This is the tag we'll use here. But yeah, this is pretty much how it works. It's this. It's yeah, it's a bulk upload against data being mapped from a data set, mapped across the OSM, and mostly we did it. I don't know why that went up twice because we did not call update twice, but we have our tag, so we can clean it up. We'll just confirm that that's what happened, and we can clean it up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna let
Yeah, no, that's good. I'll just quickly jump back just for 2 seconds to show you guys that the locations that he submitted a little while ago are on BTC map now. So I'll share my screen. But yeah, it's a good point. We're going to have to debug and figure out why we got duplicates there, but we can just query OpenStreetMap on that tag that we created, and we will do that offline. But yeah, you can see these two locations that are been added. So they're showing up in the activity feed now. And so if I click on one of them, it'll open up that location on the map. And so you can see there it is. And it's got the survey date that we set as today, all the other information we added. And it's now ready for people to go spend SATAT. So yeah, I think that's, one other thing I'll say is to keep things fair on the leaderboard, It's not really meant for bulk. It's not a competition on who can bulk upload the more locations. So I'll probably just remove Arvin or throttle his points down to keep it fair to all the super taggers that are hard at work doing the manual submissions, which are very important. So yeah, I just wanted to say that you can't just do a bunch of bulk uploads and then become the top tagger. We're gonna keep it fair. But yeah, thanks, Arvin, for doing that. That's awesome.
I think yeah, that's a good point, because 359 by 2, 718, and then we fix it, it's gonna be another 359. So I would have like 1,000 and something updates on there, which is just ridiculous for a leaderboard. So that's a good point. Oh, and here's John's.
Well, technically, won't it be fair if he, like, because he did put in the work, tough checker.
We'll leave that up to the BTC map guys to decide. But so I think what we should do is, let's leave it so that I do end up on top of the leaderboard. I'll take a screenshot and then you drop it. So we'll see it once.
Okay, fair enough. We'll do that. So if you're watching the leaderboard, don't worry. When Arvin shoots to the top, he's going to take a picture and then we will bump him back down.
This is why we need
immutable leaderboards.
Proof of work. Proof of work. Cool. All right. Well, that was a pretty wicked session. We've just hit the hour mark. Huge thanks to Arvin and Second Light. If you are on the ground in El Salvador, do go check out some of their workshops in the next couple of days. But I think that was potentially the first unofficial Adopting Bitcoin workshop wrapped. How did Johns get there? Wait, what? But yeah, guys, any final thoughts from you guys?
Live from Adopting Bitcoin. I was actually pretty impressed that it worked out.
I know exactly what happened. So, when I was confused why I didn't close, because I went and I commented the close thing and didn't comment the update thing, and then I didn't save it, and I reran it, and it ran update a second time. So that makes sense why it wasn't closed and why everything got updated twice. But that should be pretty easy to clean up. So we're good. We're good.
Yeah. So if for some reason there were some OpenStreetMap maintainers watching this, we will get that fixed up ASAP.
Cool. Great, guys. Let's leave it there today, but we'll be back for more action later in the week. Stay tuned. Don't have too much FOMO, and ciao from us on the ground.
Everybody.